The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hi there, everybody, and welcome to the Happiness Jungle with the Chief Happiness Officer, Lyn-Dee Eldridge. I've got a very special guest with us today, and it's so empowering. Mrs. Emerald Peaceful GreenForest. Emerald Peaceful GreenForest. And I have to tell you, she is one of the most inspiring spiritual leaders I've ever met. You're an author, you're a speaker, and you do some amazing workshops with individuals that really want to get in touch with their souls, right?
Their souls as well as their calling, yes.
Oh, my goodness, what a perfect title for our show today. It's Empowered by Choice. And I just want to speak for a second about the universe and how we really have to pay attention with the universe. And I want to talk about hair today. Isn't that funny?
All right, we're going into the hair.
We're going into the hair because the universe threw us a lot of humidity today. And when that happens to me, I decide not to fight the universe. I decide to go with the flow of the universe. So here I am. We're going to talk more about the universe with you because it's really important to pay attention to what exactly we're throwing out there as well as what we're receiving. That's why I wanted to bring up the humidity, because you can't control the humidity. It's the universe. You have to go with it. Emerald, I want to learn from you right now. I want to feel you spiritually lift me up and share with me how can I be, how could our audience be, more in tune with the universe, not the hokey-pokey part of it, but the reality of it, so they could be happier. Because our audience is a very happy audience, but they're stressed. So I want to make sure that we're de-stressing them.
Beautiful.
Share with them about how you feel, what you write about, and how you inspire so many that change is good.
Well, I think the key word that you're bringing to the table here today, Lyn-Dee, is inspire. And inspiration is the breath of life. It's the breath of spirit. It's coming into you, and it's lighting you up, and it's calling you to be and become more than you are in the present moment. We're always in a process of expanding, of evolving, of growing, and we do that by breathing in, right? So I would invite the audience to start by really focusing and paying attention to your breathing, because inspiration is the breathing in of the light. It's the breathing in of spirit. And when we begin our journey with a focus on the breath, then we're already 10 steps ahead.
Let's talk about breathing. Right before the cameras rolled, I went to take a deep breath and I took it wrong. And you immediately said, no, don't breathe like that.
Sure.
Teach us how to breathe.
Great. So most of us breathe in our upper chest, up here. And when you breathe in your upper chest, that actually sends a signal to your body to go into fight or flight. So you're either ready to, have a battle with somebody or with the universe, right? I'm fighting against the humidity, right? Or you want to go hide. Like, oh my God, my hair's a mess. I want to go hide under the table, right? I want to withdraw. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be heard. I don't want to be out there because I'm in flight, right? So,
how would one be breathing when they feel that fear, when they feel that flight?
High up in the chest. So when you're breathing high up in the chest, or you're breathing through your mouth. Right now, you're breathing through your mouth.
It would be like an anxiety,
right?
Trying to gasp for air kind of a thing.
And you're really only bringing the air or the breath in about this far.
Okay.
So 2 ways to shift that is to start to become aware, first of all, when you're mouth breathing. And secondly, to shift the mouth breathing to nostril breathing. So breathing in through the nose and as deep, feel the breath go down deep, as far as it can go, and then out through the mouth. And as you
Why
breathe,
don't you all try that for a second? Because that, you could feel the calmness. So maybe you guys have some agita going on right now, right? So instead of breathing like I did before the show, which was I was breathing through the mouth, and you know what? I could feel the anxiety. And not that I have anxiety, but it was completely different than calm. Are you breathing? That's wrong.
yeah, because
and you could feel it.
If you imagine like you're running through the woods, you're going to be, being chased by a Bengal tiger or something like that, right?
Right.
You're breathing hard. You're
Right.
breathing fast. Because you're trying to put as much breath and energy into your system, but it's from a space of fear and anxiety. It's not from a space of centered inspiration and balance and clarity.
Wow. And in the happiness jungle, we want balance and clarity. So let's try it, okay? So breathing through your nose, deep breath.
And then out through the mouth. So when you
Very
breathe,
calm.
and 3 times, I often, when I'm working with my clients, and I work with people from all around the world, and I help them to feel calm and cool and collected and centered and courageous in sharing their message, in doing business in the marketplace, in having a great relationship with money. So we start with the breath. Every single time I'm working with any of the people that I work with, I begin every time with breathing. In through the nose and out through the mouth 3 times.
Makes sense.
And what that does is it just brings them right in, it brings the inspiration in,
Right.
brings them right into center, and brings them present to now, rather than kind of rumbling around in the past or speculating on the future. We are in the now moment, and it's only in that now moment that we can begin the process of creating change.
And no matter whether it's on a personal or whether you're at work, you got to breathe.
Exactly.
You got to breathe whether you're home, whether you're at work. So this technique is just magnificent. And I know that you train and you coach and you mentor so many, not only how to have prosperity with their personal lives, but also with business. And you share with them how they could increase their daily activities. And they could also have abundance with finances. Now, there's a lot of people out there that are just trying to get by. Share with us, how is it that you're so impactful with others to help them understand that, first of all, their life wasn't created today, it was over a matter of time, but how can they start right now with a new beginning, looking at maybe tomorrow, the extra dollar? What's that mindset
So
of?
let me take this into 2 parts. The first part is you mentioned doing more. So I want to invite you, as well as the audience, to release the hold that the mental body has on doing more. It's not always about doing more. We live in a culture that is, societal messaging is you have to do more and more and more and more and more, and produce. And what that is doing is it's actually deteriorating our topsoil, it's deteriorating our physical health, it's deteriorating our capacity to actually be effective in what it is that we are intending to create. My invitation to everyone is, instead of focusing on doing more, why don't we instead focus on doing more of what is right and in alignment for us in the delivery of our greatest gifts to the planet? So how this translates to money. When we are doing too much, when we've spread ourselves too thin, when we're kind of spazzy and all over the place, we actually send out an energetic signal that we are in anxiety, that we are in fight or flight. And so what that attracts to us is other people who are in that state, which can be really challenging when you attract those as people as clients, because now it's like fire feeding more fire, right? Or we have a hard time attracting clients and money at all, because money actually loves clarity. Money loves to come in and fuel thriving more so than surviving. So the invitation here is to really connect in with your own unique calling and discern what activities are in service to that calling flourishing, and blossoming. And what activities am I engaged in that are really extraneous? And that requires that we really do what a shamanic practice called stopping the world, right? Stopping the world. So if you imagine this table is all the things that you have going on, right? And let's imagine that we have all these things going on, and we're in this constant like running back and forth to here and there and everywhere. When we stop the world, we're actually able to look and say, oh, is this effective? Okay, I'll leave that on my table. Is this effective? I need to take that off my table, right? We are able to actually look at what is effective rather than being in this constant state of just churning, looking like we're busy and producing, but really we're not really producing anything of lasting value, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. I love how you said, basically I tell people all the time, we're both authors and speakers and we're very blessed, and I love to share it with my gatherings, is that if you could just step out of your soul and just look to see what's going on, you'll have more clarity, you'll be able to move forward. I love that. I feel like when you were doing that, I literally decided to go ahead and step out and check out what you were sharing. And as this show is going on, I hope that you're going to also be active with Emerald, because she is peaceful and she does bring a lot of this to the table, but that's what this show is all about. It's about our audience right now being active with us. So when the show is over, they could go, whoa,
being in action.
I felt that. Be in action. Don't be on a couch.
Right. So again, let's talk about action.
Yes.
We want action to be right action. Action in service to our calling. Action in service to our thriving. So the second part of what you asked me was about, the dollar.
Yes.
I'm in survival mode. Let's just, if you are one of those people who's in a state of survival mode, primarily that's because you're breathing incorrectly, likely,
That's one.
right? That's one. So that's a very simple, easy action step that you can take. I want to share a story because stories help people to connect.
They do.
So I remember for myself when I first got the whole, got the message about the breathing. I was in the process of deciding whether or not I should stay married to my first husband. My first husband. And while I was in that process of deciding whether I should stay married or not, it finally became clear to me that I needed to end the marriage. But my whole world, so if this is the world that as I have arranged it, right? My whole world was in the mindset of, I made this commitment, it's until death do us part. I was really taking that literally, and it took some time and some wisdom from another author, Marianne Williamson. So thank God for authors and speakers, because they're putting the wisdom out there that actually is like the breadcrumbs on the trail that help us to move forward and into our own evolution and growth. Anyway, I got permission from reading A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson that my highest commitment was to my own well-being. My highest commitment was to my infinite source, to my spirit, to my God as we, however you define that. That was my highest commitment. Any other commitment was subject to negotiation and renegotiation. And when I read that, it was like I got permission to say, this marriage is not serving me. It's actually sucking me dry. And it's causing me to become this being that I wasn't meant to be. And so I made the decision to have the divorce process. And of course, that immediately put me into anxiety. I had a little boy who was at the time 5, 6 years old. I was, facing the idea of self-supporting. All of that was coming up for me, and it was creating a lot of anxiety. And I learned about the breathing piece from yoga. So what I did was I put on my desk at work, I had little index cards, and this is another action step.
Actions,
It's the little, sometimes it's just the little actions. Am I breathing through my nose or my mouth? Ask yourself that question. Take and put index cards all around my desk, and I wrote the word breathe in rainbow colors because I wanted to have, every color of the rainbow. I put the word breathe, and so whenever like my soon-to-be husband would call and start to agitate things, I would look at one of those index cards and I would just be like, and get myself back to my center. Because as long as I was in my center, there was two choices. This is about empowered by choice, right?
It is.
There was two choices that he had. He could either attune and align with my centered peacefulness around this decision, or he could polarize. And of course, what happened, the more I centered myself, the more I became clear, the more he polarized. And then it became ever more clear and easier for me actually to make the decision, in spite of all these other unknown questions of how am I going to pay my mortgage, how am I going to, raise my son and go to work, and all of those, and is he going to get him, am I going to get him, and all of those questions, I was able to just be in one moment at a time, and my capacity to stay centered just by breathing, allowed me to make that transit and allowed me to end that marriage in a way that allowed me to thrive and to grow into who I've become today and to find my unique path in service, which has since been rewarded by the universe financially and monetarily. So I'm here to tell you, you can be at your last dollar,
Right.
and if you are able to return yourself to the truth of your own source
Right.
of inspiration,
Right.
inspiration will come and show you the way.
That is so powerful. And with social media today, YouTube could be your best friend. I know that you're on YouTube. I know that I'm on YouTube. And I know that other mentors of mine are on YouTube. And that's where I program myself into when I have the self-doubt moments. Because we all have self-doubt. Doesn't matter how successful you are. But what you just said was so powerful, because what you did was give yourself permission to be selfish so you could be selfless, so you could carry on the rest of your life. You've given yourself permission that it's okay to let go of something that's not serving you. I know that our audience, there's a good amount of them that are just stuck, right what you just said. So those little action steps are golden. The rainbows, breathe, 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 drink water, breathe, breathe, breathe.
Through your
Breathe
nose.
through your nose, have clarity, and pause, and pause.
And be mindful about, this is your life.
It's your life.
This is your life. So we have the power to choose actions and experiment. I love experimenting. Experiment with our life. Let's try imagining, right? Let's try imagining what would it be like if I did a TV show, right? And so here we are having an experiment. And the purpose of the experiment is to discern, does this make you happy? If it lights you up and it makes you happy, then you are actually in service to all of your audience. You're in service to your calling. You're in service to life itself. But if, and we'll take our imagination in another direction because there's endless possibilities. If all of a sudden you start imagining, okay, I'm going to do this TV show, and then it starts to feel heavy and stressful and intense and too much, and your happiness starts to erode, that's not in service. But you don't know until you are willing to take those little action steps, are willing to try things, but not get locked in to any one way of being, because we evolve continuously, right? So I can imagine the happiness jungle here in this beautiful studio. Then I can also imagine, the happiness jungle on NBC TV in New York, right? And that may be your path of destiny. That may very well be your next step.
Don't know.
One never knows until we are willing to just hold it lightly. Hold it lightly. Have fun with it and be very self-aware. So when you said selfish, it's actually not so much selfish as it's self-affirming, self self-loving, self-nurturing, and self-aware of what works. And remember, what's working today, 4 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, may not work.
That's right.
Because we're always growing, we're always evolving, we're always giving ourselves the opportunities. The universe and we give ourselves the opportunities to grow always.
That's right. Absolutely. And putting yourself in different pockets of new inner circles, meeting new people that are going to help you strive for whatever it is that you're looking for is very important. And being willing to step out of thy comfort zone.
Exactly.
And it's okay to stub your toe.
Exactly.
Because without stubbing your toe, you're not going to learn and you're not going to grow.
Exactly.
I want to give you one of the hearts.
Aww.
You are amazing, and I'm able to give those out all over the world for great energy. And you just sparked my world. I've got some rocks over here. It's trust, it's relax, it's peace, it's imagine. And I couldn't have thought of a better person who I could lay my rocks out with. Seriously. Emerald, you're peaceful, and you're a green forest, and you're so wide open, and you're so full of the nature and the good spirits that I'm just in awe with you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Lyn-Dee. What we do, it's amazing. When we met, I knew that I was going to plant myself in different pockets of the universe, but I had no idea that I was going to be so blessed with a friend like you.
Oh, well, thank you. And I want to say something about money and about blessings and about gratitude. Because what I understand is that gratitude is the currency of the universe.
Yes, it is.
And currency is actually gratitude in action. So when we look at our relationship with money, as money is a tool that we can utilize to extend our gratitude out into the world, it becomes an enormous gift to us and imperative to us to be in right relationship with money.
Yes.
It's important for us to not look at money as something that is bad or dangerous or sinful or that
It's not always evil.
It's not evil.
No.
In fact, I believe that the root of all evil is not money. The root of all evil is often envy. I have found it to be envy. And what I want to talk about that is when we look at someone else, we can either see possibility for ourselves or we can see them and be jealous and envious of what they have and feel in lack ourselves. So we're not honoring our own gifts when we're in envy.
Right.
And when we are in that space, money doesn't want to come anywhere near us. Money does not want to reward us.
Right.
The universe doesn't want to reward us for being in that space. So I want to come back to really inviting people. So we've talked about breathing. We've talked about the baby action steps. And now I want to talk about gratitude.
Okay.
When we're in gratitude for all of it, the fertilizer as well as the flowers.
And the manure.
Exactly, the manure as well as the flowers. When we're in gratitude and we then vote with our dollars.
Yeah.
Often we're asked to invest in ourselves to grow and to expand.
You have to.
Right? And so when we vote with our dollars in service to our calling, in service to ourselves, we are actually being grateful to the infinite source for the gifts that we have been given.
100%. Because free. If there was a description between if money was the devil and free was the angel, I kind of think we got it a little reversed sometimes, because free could hold you back more than anything in the world. You have to invest in yourself. As soon as you realize how you want to invest in yourself, just make sure you're investing in yourself and you're moving forward with a new inner circle so you can be appreciated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Are you ready to play a little game with me?
I am.
I like
What's the
games.
game?
So the game is spontaneous, and I have 4 cards, and you're going to choose one card. When you choose that card, it's going to be an action, and we're going to apply it to what your mantra is. Okay? So you ready?
I love games.
And I know.
And I
there's
love cards.
and there's a green card in here.
Okay.
And you're going to be able to choose it, but the audience won't be able to see it because it's green.
Okay, I'm not going to do
Go
that.
ahead.
I'm just going to pick the card, this card. Ooh.
What does it say?
It says be in control.
Woo! Go ahead. You have 30 seconds. Be in control.
So I feel like what we want to be in control of is our breath. I feel like we want to be in control of our action steps and be taking controlled action steps and then assessing and saying, did this work for me or didn't it work for me? And what's my next step? And I feel like we want to be in control of our financial freedom by making those choices that allow us to feel grateful for investing in ourselves, in our gifts, and in the people who are around us that are serving us into our greatest flowering.
Wow. Emerald Peaceful. Oh my goodness. Emerald Peaceful. I am beyond feeling blessed right now.
Nice deep breath.
Please share with our audience how they can get in touch with you because they're going to want to.
All right. Well, I would love to have you get in touch with me via the empoweredmessenger.com. That is my website and my portal into my Emerald Peaceful Green Forest right now. I'd love to have you go visit there and explore all around. We have lots of fun things that you can acquire there and content that is available for people to consume.
Aren't you also on Amazon.com?
I am on Amazon.com.
Your books are on Amazon.com?
I have a book. I have actually a couple of books on Amazon.com. Cool. I have an award-winning Crystal Singing Bowl Healing CD that's on Amazon.com under my old name. So I'm, at one point I was known as Amethyst Wyldfyre.
Now you know why I get confused sometimes.
I went through a calling, a spiritual, rebirth,
did.
and changed my name. So you will find me on the web right now under both names. Amethyst Wyldfyre with Wyldfyre is how you spell the last name, and Emerald Peaceful Green Forest. But the fire is going out so that the forest can thrive.
Amen. That is absolutely breathtaking. Everybody, empowered by choice. You have the choice to become everything and anything and more. And I'm here to tell you that everything is definitely possible. Never said life was easy, but I did say we can be happier. Lyn-Dee Eldridge, the Chief Happiness Officer of the Happiness Jungle, invites you to happinessjungle.com. Go ahead and subscribe to Smiles and enjoy those blogs and grow for today so your tomorrows can be empowered by choice.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.